Welcome to Good to Know, where we explore the science that shapes everyday life. Today's topic is something that touches millions of lives and comes with a lot of confusion. What does the latest science say about alcohol use? Is moderate drinking still considered safe? Does alcohol really offer health benefits? Or is even occasional drinking riskier than we thought? Let's dive deep into what cutting-edge research reveals about alcohol and your body, your brain, and your future. For years, public messaging about alcohol has been mixed. On one hand, you've probably heard claims like, moderate drinking is heart healthy. A glass of red wine a day keeps the doctor away. Light drinkers live longer than But on the other hand, rising voices in the medical and scientific communities are telling a very different story. No amount of alcohol is truly risk-free. Even low-level drinking may contribute to serious health problems over time. What we thought we knew about healthy drinking was often based on flawed studies. The truth is much more complicated and much more important to understand. Let's start with what alcohol actually is. Alcohol is a psychoactive substance that affects virtually every organ in the body. It crosses the blood-brain barrier quickly, altering mood, behavior, coordination, and cognitive function. It's also metabolized into acetaldehyde, a toxic, carcinogenic substance that damages DNA. Despite being legal and widely consumed, alcohol is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization, placing it in the same risk category as tobacco and asbestos when it comes to causing cancer. This alone should make us think twice. For decades, observational studies suggested that moderate drinkers had lower rates of heart disease compared to heavy drinkers or However, many of these studies suffered from what scientists call confounding factors. Moderate drinkers often had other healthy behaviors: higher socioeconomic status, better access to healthcare, healthier diets and exercise habits, stronger social networks. When researchers adjusted for these variables, the supposed protective effects of alcohol virtually disappeared. Today's best evidence shows that alcohol offers no true health benefits, and any perceived benefits are outweighed by its risks. Recent research has clarified that alcohol increases the risk for a wide range of serious diseases, even at low levels of consumption. These include cardiovascular diseases like hypertension, arrhythmias, and stroke. Several cancers, including breast, liver, colorectal, and esophageal cancer. Liver diseases like cirrhosis and fatty liver, neurological damage, cognitive decline, and dementia. Mood disorders such as depression and anxiety. Weakened immune function. The idea that a little alcohol might be harmless is increasingly being challenged. In 2022, large studies covering hundreds of thousands of people across multiple countries concluded that the safest level of drinking is none. That's not to say that one glass of wine will destroy your health. But the notion of a safe threshold for alcohol use, especially regarding cancer risk, doesn't hold up under modern scrutiny. Even light drinking slightly raises your risk for diseases like breast cancer. And the more you drink, the greater the risks grow. The pattern of drinking also matters enormously. Drinking small amounts regularly is different from binge drinking, which is defined as consuming 4 or more drinks in a single occasion for women, or 5 or more for men. Binge drinking dramatically increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, accidents, injuries, alcohol poisoning, violent behavior. Unfortunately, binge drinking is on the rise among young adults and even middle-aged groups. Another concern is alcohol's effect on the brain. Short-term, alcohol slows down brain function by increasing the activity of inhibitory neurotransmitters like GABA and reducing excitatory neurotransmitters like glutamate. This results in impaired judgment, slowed reflexes, poor memory formation, lowered inhibitions. Over the long term, repeated alcohol exposure causes structural changes in the brain. Chronic heavy drinking leads to shrinking of the hippocampus, which affects memory and learning. Damage to the prefrontal cortex, impairing decision-making and self-control. White matter degeneration, reducing communication between brain regions. Even moderate drinkers show, on average, slightly smaller brain volumes than non-drinkers. Then the difference grows with higher levels of consumption. Sleep is another area heavily affected by alcohol. Many people use alcohol as a way to unwind and fall asleep faster. And while alcohol does shorten the time it takes to fall asleep initially, it disrupts sleep quality later in the night. Alcohol reduces REM sleep, the deep, restorative phase of the sleep cycle. It fragments sleep, leading to frequent awakenings, dehydration, and feelings of exhaustion the next day. Over time, using alcohol as a sleep aid can contribute to chronic insomnia, mood disturbances, and higher rates of depression. When it comes to mental health, alcohol's effects are equally complex. In the short term, alcohol can reduce feelings of stress and anxiety by suppressing brain activity. But over time, regular drinking tends to worsen mental health, not improve it. Heavy drinking increases the risk of developing mood disorders like major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, substance use disorders. It can also lead to emotional volatility, impulsivity, and strained relationships. Importantly, alcohol doesn't just mask existing problems, often creates new ones. From a public health perspective, alcohol's burden on society is enormous. It contributes to millions of deaths each year worldwide, not just from liver disease and cancer, but from accidents, injuries, violence, and suicide. It costs billions of dollars in healthcare expenses, lost productivity, and law enforcement needs. In 2018, the CDC estimated that excessive alcohol use costs the U.S. economy over $249 billion per year. Yet, because alcohol is culturally normalized, its harms are often overlooked or minimized. You might wonder, if alcohol is so harmful, why do so many people drink? Part of the answer lies in psychology and marketing. Alcohol is associated with positive imagery, celebration, relaxation, friendship, success. Powerful advertising reinforces these messages from an early age. Social pressure also plays a huge role. Many social events revolve around drinking, and abstaining can sometimes feel awkward or isolating. There's also the biological reinforcement. Alcohol triggers the release of dopamine in the brain's reward pathways, creating a temporary feeling of pleasure and reducing discomfort. Over time, this can condition people to associate drinking with emotional reliefs, strengthening the habit even when it's harmful. However, there's growing momentum behind changing the cultural conversation around alcohol. Movements like Sober Curious, Dry January, alcohol-free bars and social events, the rise of non-alcoholic craft beers, wines, and spirits, are all part of a broader trend toward mindful drinking and rethinking alcohol's role in our lives. Many people who cut back or quit drinking report experiencing better sleep, weight loss, improved skin, sharper thinking, stronger immune health, better moods, improved relationships. And it doesn't have to be. For some, moderation works well, choosing to drink less often, in smaller amounts, and with greater awareness. For others, complete abstinence feels right, whether for health, recovery, religious, or personal reasons. The key is making an informed choice, rather than following outdated myths or social habits. So what's the bottom line? The latest science is clear. Alcohol offers no true health benefits. Even small amounts carry some risk. More alcohol means greater danger, especially for cancer, heart disease, and brain health. Mindful, moderate, or minimal drinking is better than excessive drinking. Cutting back or quitting can significantly boost health, energy, and well-being. You don't have to fear alcohol, but you should respect its power. Understanding the real risks and rewards lets you take control and live with intention. Have you ever thought about cutting back on alcohol or changing how you drink? What did you notice when you made changes? Share your story in the comment side. Love to hear it. If this video helped you see alcohol in a new light, like it. Subscribe to Good to Know for more deep dives into the science behind everyday life. And hit the bell so you never miss another discovery. The best choices are the ones you make with open eyes.